I am having so much fun.
Am I a romance girly now?
Honestly, me.
So I am a fantasy girly through and through. I feel like ever since I've been a child, my favorite genre has always been fantasy. I don't know why, I just very much gravitate towards that. But lately I haven't been bored, I would say, but I have kind of been feeling like I just want to switch it up a little bit. So this week, we're gonna do an experiment. So this week, I'm planning to only read romance books for a whole week. And I'm very intrigued to see how it's gonna go. So, like I said, I've mostly been reading fantasy lately. I do tend to also like some classics here and there, but I don't know. Fantasy is just where it's at for me. Like, it just hits most of the time. And when it comes to popular romantasy books, I actually tend to not like them as much. But then there are also some, like, I feel like less popular ones that I really enjoy. So I don't know, this whole romance, rom-com genre was just intriguing me and I wanted to know what it's all about, okay? So you gotta know, yesterday the weather was so nice. The sun was shining, it was beautiful. And a romance book that was available in my library that I kind of thought fit that vibe was It Happened One Summer. So I got it in my library. But today, for some reason, there's been thunder, it's been storming the whole morning so far. Um, and I feel like It Happened One Summer is just not the vibe right now. So I'm actually not gonna start that. But I also have the Love Hypothesis right now. So I'm actually thinking of starting that one. I also feel like I've heard that it's a very popular one for people to get into romance, so I thought actually that's gonna be fitting, I guess, to start with. Now a little bit background. I actually have read another Ellie Hazelwood book before. It's by Ellie Hazelwood, right? Let me just look that up. Okay, yes. So yeah, I have read the book Bride by Ellie Hazelwood before because like I said, I gravitate more towards fantasy. And I actually enjoyed that one. Yes, the mating bond was weird. It's been a while since I read it, so I don't fully remember, but I think they were talking about a knot or something, like something that was supposed to be very sexual, and I did not understand what was going on, and I was very confused. But yeah, that's the other Ellie Hazelwood book I have read so far. And then I also read Icebreaker back when it was a TikTok trend because I just wanted to be part of the community of that trend on the internet. Um, and I actually thought that was alright, to be honest. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I kind of liked the topics that it talked about with like the main character having an eating disorder, and I think the way it tackled that was very interesting, and I like that. So I don't know. Also, I really love watching rom-coms, so I don't know why I just never read romance books. I don't know. But yeah, today is the day. And like I said, we're starting with the Love Hypothesis. And I actually do have the book, but I'm gonna make breakfast now. We're making pancakes today. So I'm actually gonna listen to the audiobook while doing that. And then afterwards, we're gonna see. I'm probably gonna keep reading if I enjoy it. So, as far as I know, and I genuinely don't know much about the book, I think it's about two professors, or I don't think, like, I think the main character, the girl, is a student and she's getting her PhD, and then the guy is a professor, and they don't work together. So, it's not like that kind of story. But yeah, they are both scientists. And what did I hear about the book again? She is trying to do some research for her project, and for some reason they have to work in the same lab or something. I don't know. So that's all I know. I like to go into my books knowing nothing. And I mean, especially for romance books, I don't think you need to know a plot because it's not really about the plot. Yeah, that's all I know. And now it's time to make breakfast.
A supposition or made on the basis of limited evidence under investigation. Years of unappreciated, underpaid, mediocre work weeks might.
Why is she kissing him? Like, what is going on? How did you... Did I miss something? Wait.
Based on the available.
Girl, what? What is going on?
Not because she didn't like science. She did. She loved science. Science was her thing. And not because of the truckload. She was well aware that committing underpaid 80-hour work might not be good for her mental health.
Honestly, me. Okay, they've been talking about what their favorite colors are. So she asked him, and he said his favorite color is black. And she was like, that's not actually a real color. And now he has asked her, and she says her favorite color is white. Girl. And also he says that's not really a color, more like all colors put together. But isn't technically white the absence of color? And wouldn't black be rather closer to putting all colors together? Okay, I'm in chapter 7 now. I am having so much fun. I didn't... Oh my gosh, I need to contain myself, okay. So I gotta be completely honest, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much. I did expect that I would like it maybe, but I kind of thought I would cringe a lot more. I would just feel more secondhand embarrassment for the characters, which I have already, don't get me wrong. There was one scene where I was just like, had to stop reading for a bit to just like, but overall so far I'm having so much fun. This is great. It's like an adrenaline rush, I don't know. And it's just also very nice to just have like a fun, chill story. I don't know, because usually for fantasy books it's a lot more stressful. We're usually trying to overthrow a kingdom, I don't know. So it's just kind of nice to have a little bit lower stakes, you know, because we're just hanging out and we're just fake dating this guy who we totally don't have an actual crush on at all. No. So I don't even want to keep talking. I just want to keep reading. So I'm gonna leave you here again. I think I'm at about 35% right now. So I'm loving this book. I'm having so much fun. I did not expect that to happen, to be honest. I'm aware there was prejudice on my side and I apologize. I'm very sorry. I'm gonna get back to reading now because, like I said, I just want to keep going. Probably gonna finish that book today. Okay, bye. Okay, excuse the angle and the probably weird bad lighting, I don't know. But I have to talk about it, okay? So I've been reading, I don't even know how far I'm at. Probably like 60, 70% maybe. And I can't, it's so funny. Obviously there's this love story since it's a romance and they have to go to this hotel now. And since it's a fake dating book, all the main character's friends have been saying, well, we're all going to this hotel, but you're obviously gonna stay with your boyfriend, right? And she's like, shit, okay, well, sure, I guess I'm staying with my boyfriend then. And then they talked about it and he was like, well, sure, you can stay with me, I don't care. And she's like, no, but like, what about the bed? And he's like, no, I booked a double. And she's like, there will only be one bed. Wait, I have to read it. There will only be one bed. He frowned. No, as I said, it's a double. It's not. It won't be. There will only be one bed, for sure. He gave her a puzzled look. I got the booking confirmation the other day. I can forward it to you if you want. It says that it doesn't matter what it says. It's always one bed. I can't. This book is clearly in our reality. And she has talked about like, oh, yeah, I'm familiar with the fake dating trope. I know that one. And she's just like, trust me, there will only be one bed. And it's so funny. And now I just want to know, will there only be one bed? Because it would actually be funnier if there wasn't gonna be one bed now. But I don't know. It's so funny. So I'm gonna keep reading, to be honest. I might need to make dinner at some point, but I wanna keep reading. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna spend my Sunday. I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun. Okay, I didn't expect to have that much fun. Also, one more thing that I want to say, I really like that the drama is mainly around the main character just overthinking because I don't like when the drama involves another person. So for example, I really hate love triangles. Like I really hate them like so much that I have made a full video talking about why I hate them. So like I'm very excited that so far nothing like that has happened. And also there isn't like a toxic friend that just wants to break them apart or something. Like the friends at the beginning were like, really? Him? Like why, girl? But then they just ended up noticing how they are with each other and saw that they were very sweet and clearly happy together and just went with it. They were like, okay, sure, if my bestie's happy, why not? And I really like that so far in the book, that it's just the drama just comes from the main character being overwhelmed and not because another person is just evil and mean, because I don't like that. So I'm having so much fun so far. I can't. I'm gonna keep reading now.
Good morning. So I actually don't have that much time right now, which is why I'm already wearing my gym clothes, because I'm gonna run to the gym afterwards. Like today is gonna be packed. But I just wanted to come here for a second and tell you that I finished The Love Hypothesis. I don't know if you can even see if it's even gonna be in the video, but yeah, I finished it last night, and I'm genuinely so surprised how much I ended up enjoying the book. Like honestly, I don't know, I always liked rom-coms as like movies, so I really don't know why I thought I wouldn't like romance novels. But I was so surprised about how much fun this was to read. I mean, do I feel like the characters didn't really go through an arc or had great character development? Yeah, they did not, to be honest. I don't know, I would have liked to see a little bit more character development from the male main character, because we start out with him not being that nice and he's just gonna stay not being that nice. And I don't know, I feel like they tried to explain it by saying like, well, he's a professor, he doesn't need to be nice to his students, he just has to give them the right critique to become great scientists. But I still think you can tell people in a nicer way. You know, I don't know. And he just felt so oblivious to criticism, like he just didn't care, he just didn't want to care, he didn't want to change. So I didn't love that, but overall it was just a fun book. I also like that the romance plot wasn't the whole main plot, like there was still an actual plot other than the relationship, because the main character is getting her PhD and that's just what we're trying to do. She's working on her project to finish that, and it was actually an interesting plot aside from the romance, so I enjoyed that. I was genuinely surprised because sometimes I feel like romance is just written very cringy. like just very awkward, and I just get a lot of secondhand embarrassment. That also happens with rom-coms a lot when I watch the films. I just sometimes I'm just sitting there like, no, don't, why? And I didn't really get that as much with this book, except there was this one scene where we are at a scientific talk, like an academic scientific talk that other scientists are giving, and the main character has to sit on the lab of her professor. He's not her professor, but like he's a professor at the same university that she's a student at, and she sits on this man's lab with everyone else around to see, and no one cares. And it's just, I was, it felt very awkward to me, so I didn't really enjoy that. But overall, I just thought it was pretty funny and I liked it. Now, for some reason, I decided last night that the next book I'm gonna be reading is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. Mostly because, I think I said it before, I have read Icebreaker and I thought it was okay. It was fine. And I'm just intrigued to see how the writing, I guess, develops with different characters. So I'm just intrigued to see what the author does with like different characters in the same universe. So we're just gonna read what it's about for a second. Maple Hill student Russ Callahan. Can't pronounce it. Anyway, Maple Hill student Russ and Aurora cross paths at a party celebrating the end of the academic year, where a drinking game results in them having a passionate one-night stand. Never one to overstay her welcome or expect much from a man, Aurora slips away before Russ even has the chance to ask her full name. Imagine their surprise when they bump into each other on the first day of the summer camp, where they are both counselors, hoping to escape their complicated home lives by spending their summer working. Russ hopes if he gets far enough away from Maple Hills, he can avoid dealing with the repercussions of his father's gambling addiction, while Aurora is tired of craving attention from everyone around her and wants to go back to the last place she truly felt at home. Russ knows breaking the camp's strict no staff fraternizing rule will have him heading back to Maple Hills before the summer is over. But unfortunately for him, Aurora has never been very good at caring about the rules. Will the two learn to peacefully coexist, or did they one night together start a fire they can't put out? Okay, I really feel like I shouldn't read these abstracts before I read the books because they genuinely feel pretty awkward to me. But I felt like the writing in the book wasn't that bad, so I don't know. I'm gonna read it. I'm also such a mood reader. I think I talked about this before, but I don't know. My mood can change, like, you know? So I actually kind of don't feel like reading a romance novel right now. But I'm gonna start it. We'll see. I might just slip in a little high fantasy in between if I don't feel like reading anymore. But for now, my plan is to read this book. And we'll see. But I also feel like I don't want to force it because, like I said, I am very much a mood reader. And I feel like if I'm just not feeling it right now, then I'm not gonna like the book, even though it might actually not be that bad. And so I just think if I read it at the right time, then I'm gonna have fun with it. So why shouldn't I try to read it when I'm in the mood for it instead of trying to force myself through it? I don't know, does that make sense? But yeah, those are my plans for now. And like I said, I'm gonna run to the gym now because, yeah, time is very short for me today. So I don't even know how much I'm gonna reach today just because I have so much to do. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next days. Hi. Basically, it's been pretty much a week since I talked to you last time because right after my last video, like the next day, I got pretty much very much sick. So I couldn't film anymore. which was really annoying because that was exactly the point where I could have finished the video, you know? But now I had to wait a full week until I was feeling better again, which I'm actually still not feeling that much better, but like, we're getting there, you know? So yeah. I don't even remember where I left. I think I just wanted to start reading Wildfire, right? Okay, so basically, when I started reading Wildfire, I was already feeling a little bit sick, so I started to just spend more time laying in bed and doing nothing, which also meant that I could read more. So I basically finished Wildfire, I think the day that I started it. Like, I finished it in one day. Okay, so now let's talk about the books. I'm sorry if I don't fully remember or if I don't feel as excited to talk about them anymore, because usually in the moment I'm like, you know? But now that it's been over a week, I'm just like, yeah, those books exist. But no, okay, so what did I think of the book? I think I actually enjoyed it more than Icebreaker. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I enjoyed it more. It also has a lot less sex scene in it. So if you didn't love that about Icebreaker, in this book I think there are like maybe 4 or something. I genuinely don't care about that, so I don't know, but just want to let you know. But what I really liked about this one compared to maybe like the Love Hypothesis is that the characters, I felt like they just had a lot more character development. Like, we get to know them more personally. We get to see their struggles in life, their family situation. I feel like that's something that Hannah Grace does pretty well though, because I feel like a lot of the hype around the books is pretty much that everyone just loves all the characters. Like, not just the main couple, but also every side character is just so developed and has such an intense, interesting personality that you just have to love them, you know? And I think a big part why people like the books isn't even the main love story, but rather the relationships between all the characters, like all the friends, the friend groups is just so sweet, and all of them are just so cute, and we just love to see that. So like I said, I really liked this book. Gotta be honest, I even got a little bit emotional towards the end, because I wouldn't call this a spoiler, but both main characters have big daddy issues. And I was like, I have enough of that in my own life. I don't need to read about that, but like, great to be here, I guess. So that genuinely made me like a little bit teary-eyed, maybe a little bit emotional. I didn't fully cry though, but I don't know, I just felt pretty much invested in the characters, which I enjoy. I like that very much. But now let's get to the epilogue. Because Hannah, she likes to write an epilogue, and I don't know why. It was the same for me in Icebreaker. I did not like this damn epilogue, and I thought the ending was pretty good. I don't remember how it ends in Icebreaker, but I'm pretty sure I enjoyed the ending, and I was like, oh, that was a great book. And then I read the epilogue and was like, no. No, what are we doing? Stop it. Stop it. Like, genuinely. And it's the same again for this book. I don't know. I read the epilogue and I was like, why are we doing this right now? We did not need this. We really did not need this. So, yeah, me and her with epilogues is like, but then actually the next book that I decided to read, because, like I said, I actually enjoyed this one so much. So I just wanted to finish the trilogy, because this book is the second book after Icebreaker. And there's a third one called Daydream. And it's actually about the fan favorite character, because every book follows a different character in like the friend group that we all know. And so the third book was about Henry, which is like, I'm pretty sure the fan favorite character, and I also love him very much. So I decided to start the next book. Mind you, that was the point when I was genuinely sick. Like, I was laying in bed, I was feeling like shit, and I was reading this book, which did not help me feel better, to be honest. So in this book, we follow Henry, like I said, and a girl named Helly that we didn't really know before. She actually gets mentioned in the second book, but we don't know her. So in the second book, if you don't know that the next one's gonna be about her, you're not gonna realize that she was like name dropped, I guess. But yeah, in this book we follow Helly, and she's this cute I wouldn't say shy. I think she's actually pretty extroverted, but she just doesn't really have that many friends, and so she ends up just spending a lot of time alone, even though she maybe doesn't want to. And she reads a lot. She works at a bookstore. I don't think she works there, but she has like a book club at a bookstore. She's pretty good at school. Like, she seems like she has it all together. And then we have Henry, who is captain of the hockey team, but he's actually kind of overwhelmed and doesn't really want to be that. And also, his grades aren't that great. And so he gets a tutor, which is her. And that's how it's not how they meet, like they already met before, like once or twice maybe, but that's how they start to like spend more time together. And that's the plot. Although it actually goes pretty far into a different direction later, but I don't want to spoil anything. So I'm just gonna say, if you enjoyed the first two books, I don't know if you're gonna enjoy this book because it's so different. It's completely different from the other books. First of all, if you read the other books for the smut, you are not gonna enjoy this book because I think we get the first kiss maybe like 50-60% in, and then like the first sexual scene like maybe at 75-80% of the book. So if that's what you're here for, don't read this book. You're not gonna enjoy it. Because I think I read a lot of reviews of people not enjoying it because they just expected it to be the same, which makes sense. Like, I totally get it. I personally think this book was a masterpiece. And I'm gonna tell you why now. So I really, really, really like this book, but I would recommend it to people that have nothing to do with Icebreaker or Wildfire, to be honest, because this book is very much more about a mental health aspect of these characters. We already knew, I think, that Henry is in some way neurodivergent, and so throughout the book he does struggle with his mental health, and the same applies for Helly in a very different way, actually. So she struggles more with people always putting expectations on her and just expecting her to be this perfect person, being like the perfect student, the perfect child, the perfect big sister, and they both just struggle a lot throughout the book, and it's not fun to read. Like, I was shaking, I was almost crying, I was not feeling great throughout this book, especially towards the end. Like, it was depressing. But in the best way. Like, I really enjoyed it. I think it was so interesting to read about them just working through their trauma. I don't know. That sounds kind of weird, but like, I really, really enjoyed that. So this book made me genuinely so overwhelmed and anxious. Not in a good way, but also I couldn't stop. And I also really enjoyed reading about it, to be honest. And I feel like I'm probably gonna reread this book at some point. And I stayed up until 5 a.m. to finish the book. And I did have uni the next day, even though I was sick. I still went to uni the next day, even though 5 a.m. and I was sick. But yeah, that was probably not good because that was then the day when I got fully sick and couldn't go to uni anymore because I was done. I was knocked out. I was not good. So maybe this book had something to do with me getting completely wrecked. Fully sick? I don't think so, though. I was already feeling not that great before, but yeah, this book made me rethink my life. I really enjoyed it. I had no fun, to be honest, although I did have some fun, because at the beginning it's like a cute little love story and I had fun, but then we get to the trauma part of both of them struggling and both of them realizing maybe they need to work on themselves because they can't be with someone if they are struggling themselves. And it was so good. I really enjoyed this book. I really like the direction that Hannah went for in this book, but like I said, it's so different from the other ones. Like, I would not call this a romance book, to be honest. Maybe a romance book, but definitely not like rom-com, because I feel like at least Wildfire, it definitely felt more like a rom-com. This one, no. Absolutely not. But I loved it. I thought it was beautiful. I'm in love with Henry. I just want everyone to have a Henry because he's perfect. And also, this time, she wrote a great epilogue. She really redeemed herself with this book for me, genuinely. Because the other two epilogues, like I just said, terrible, hated them, they were not great. But this epilogue, Perfect. I loved it. So yeah, those were my opinions on the book. I'm sorry that I couldn't really make it more of a vlog type video towards the end because I just got sick and couldn't really film the reading process because, like I said, I was dying. So I'm very sorry about that. In the end, I guess I just talked mostly about the books, but I had a great time actually. Not when I got sick, but while reading, I was feeling great. I had an amazing time, and I really think that this showed me that I am gonna keep reading more romance books again. Right now, I'm back in my high fantasy, like I'm reading Sanderson again, so I'm probably gonna stay there for a while, but I'm sure I'm gonna pick up another romance book again when I just feel like it, because now I know that I'm gonna enjoy them. Like, I had so much fun with all these 3 books. I had so much fun. There was none that wasn't enjoyable to me. Sure, there were some moments where I was cringing a little bit or something, but overall, great experience. I loved it. Am I a romance girly now? Like, am I? I don't know. I don't think so. I think fantasy is gonna keep my heart forever, but I'm very glad that I did this video to test my interest for romance because I guess it's there and I am very intrigued to keep reading more. I feel like I might do a part 2 because I didn't even read that many books in the end. So maybe I'm just gonna make a part 2 to this video where I read more romance books and see how I feel about them. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week. Bye!